spending this beautiful night inside. I appreciate it. I think I know everybody, but my name's Billy Niemeyer. I just opened up a practice across the street with my husband. It's called BioBalance for the mind, body, and soul, and I'm primarily doing hormone therapy. I'm going to introduce some weight loss, the shots that everybody's talking about. We can talk about that another time. But tonight is all about LifeVantage. I came across this with a patient of mine. Can I share, I guess?
Yeah, go ahead.
He is a hormone patient of mine. He is a chiropractor from Mountain Lake. He lives in St. Peters, so he drives to me. He has been wonderful through this whole process. We've had a great journey learning together. He sends me patients. We get them better. But, you know, life has turned upside down for me with work, moving. And so when I was talking with him about my life, he's like, you know, I think this would work well with you. And I'm like, all right, I trust you. You've trusted me, I trust you. So he got me on a phone call with Amy. Amy and Grant are from the Des Moines area. Deploy, right, your last name? Deployed. So I got on a phone call with Amy, and it was just pretty life-changing at my moment because I was in a pretty low space, like, what am I doing with my life? Am I going through a midlife crisis? Like, I haven't moved in my home, I'm opening my practice, and she was just a breath of fresh air. Getting a little emotional because I have many patients that are doing good with the hormone therapy, but we're missing something. And I feel like this new product is just really going to fit. And Amy's like, what's your why? I said my why is my family, my friends, and my patients. So with that introduction, I don't know if Phil wants to talk first or Amy or...
You just throw me in that well. I've got a kind of cold. I'm just sort of talk a little bit of this after.
I'll bring you up.
There you go. Give me some.
Thank you. Guys, I'm sorry. I am so hot.
And Amy and Grant, they're in the middle of a move too. They have their trailer in the back, so they know what I'm going through.
Nooks and crannies, y'all. You can do this in the nooks and crannies.
Yeah, so this is Amy. She's going to tell us all about the product. In fact, I'm learning tonight too. So
Awesome.
it's a journey. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, thanks for coming.
Oh my goodness. Whew. How's everybody doing tonight?
Good.
I am so excited. You guys could be in a million different places tonight, and you chose to be here supporting Billy and learning about something new that may or may not be for you, but very well could be something that drastically changed your life like it changed mine. And like she said, my name is Amy. My husband's Grant. We go by Amy Grant. Okay, good. We know who she is. Don't forget that. So I'll tell you a little bit about my story tonight, our story. I want to tell you the LifeVantage story because that's why we're all here. And it's going to be a little bit about like the science and technology. And guys, I geek out about this, and I get really, really passionate. And I'm a no hype, no fluff girl. I'm pretty plain Jane, honestly. Like, just I tell it how it is. So I want to give you guys the information that you need to be empowered to make an informed choice over your health and over your life. Because I think that in this day and age, there's a lot of information out there, and we have to sift and sort and weed through it all and decide what is right for us. And that's what I want to do for you guys tonight. And then I want to tell the whole story because we're very transparent, and I just want to show you what we are all about and give you all the tools that you need. Okay, does that sound good? So, to start off, I was introduced to this back in 2015. And at the time, working pretty crazy hours, my husband and I were like ships passing in the night. I had just had my second baby. I was working as a behavioral health intervention specialist, long word, BHIS, and I did both inpatient at a hospital for children in the psychiatric unit, and I did long-term interventions in home with children and families, and I loved it. I loved it because I love helping people get to the root of their issues. In the hospital, they'd slap some meds on them, they'd get them stable, and they'd send them home. And that was really, really hard to see. In the home, I could really work with people for years and help them work through so many problems. Loved what I was doing. You don't get paid very well doing that, right? We were living in a 2-bedroom condo with 2 kids, barely making ends meet. My husband, by the time I would go to work, he'd be home from work, and he does work in corporate America, climbing that corporate ladder. You know how that goes. So when we were introduced to this, we were just tired. We were working hard, and we weren't very interested. And we were young. And so we were kind of like, yeah, okay, you know, we'll let everybody else learn about that. What really caught our attention, though, was his mother had gone through 4 years of debilitating pain and inflammation from an injury in her Achilles tendons. She was a registered nurse, so she was like, somebody had offered her this information. She's like, oh, no. I don't take herbs or anything like that. I'm going to go to the doctor. They got my best interest. How many people have been there? The doctors threw every pain medication they could at her. They tried all these different things with her. They did therapies. She wore a special boot. She finally opted for surgery, and at the end of 4 years, she was depressed. She was living with chronic pain. She couldn't get rid of it. So she called the person that tried to share this with her. She said, hey, just give me that pill, whatever the heck you were trying to give me before. I'm desperate. And at the end of the first month, her pain was 60% gone. And after 6 months, she was pain-free. She's like, what the literal heck? And so she got excited, and she made us forcefully sit down like you're sitting right now and listen to what you're about to hear. And that changed the course of our life. Because she knew that my husband's heart health was not great. She's his mom. And his biological dad had passed away from a massive heart attack at the age of 34. Grant is going to be turning 34 this year. And she knew, and all the doctors were telling him, you need to be proactive about your heart. And he's like, I don't want to be on meds the rest of my life. I don't want to do it. And what really struck a chord with me when I saw this was seeing that the American Heart Association had taken this natural product and had funded its own research on it and validated it. So everything that you hear from me is not just me like, it's peer-reviewed, scrutinized research by people that only support drugs up until now. So that's huge. And now we have over 27, actually over 30, peer-reviewed and published research studies done by numerous places that I'll show you in a little bit. So we saw that, and then we went to Sioux Falls, and I heard a cardiologist from the Avera Heart Hospital talk about this. And he said, I'm retiring as a doctor to do this full time because I've been able to help more people proactively with their heart than I could reactively as a doctor. My mind was blown. That was the moment, and my mother-in-law had been trying to get us to do this for a year, and I was like, never will I ever, right? I'm in social work. I love people. That's what I do. I don't do salesy things. I still don't do salesy things 7 years later. But that was the moment where I literally grabbed Grant and I said, babe, you're going on this for life. I'm actually going to start taking it, and we have to tell the world. I was like, holy smokes. And so we started on a journey in 2016 with this company, and it is the best decision I've ever made. 2 years after we started this, I had been able to replace my day job income, and I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I actually didn't even know what we were making. One day he looks at me, he's like, hey, like, you made this. And I was like, what? How did I do? I didn't know anything about business. I was just sharing this with people. And 7 years later, I'm just really proud to say that we have an incredible organization of people who are just out there sharing the same message and offering it and just saying, hey, you need to know about this so you can make a decision. So that's a little bit about our story. His health is way better these days than it was back then. My health, how many of you guys out there have thought of everybody else that needs something before you think about yourself? Because that was me. I wasn't even thinking about myself when I started this. I just started taking it preventatively, but I was quietly suffering from chronic fatigue, and I chalked it up to be a tired mom. Like, I was like, well, this is life for the rest of my life. And we just kind of live with it. Just because it's normal doesn't mean it's okay, doesn't mean it's right. And so I started taking it, and I was also getting at least a monthly migraine. I was like, dang it, I'm not a doctor person, I don't do all these things. When I started activating my body with this, it was gone. And that is just something that never came back, and I'm so, so, so thankful for that every single day, to have my vitality back. So, what is it? Let's dive in. The LifeVantage story. It is important that you know what happened before we became this company, because there's a lot of health and wellness companies out there, And everybody's got this great product, but nobody has the story of what happened before they were a company, right? So this is important. I want you to know and understand where we came from, where we started. So it all started in a lab in the 1960s when this scientist discovered an enzyme in our body that we didn't know existed called SOD. And I'm not going to quiz you guys, superoxide dismutase. We don't need to get into all that scientific stuff. But he discovered this enzyme. And what blows my mind, and guys, I'm a believer. I believe we were created, okay, by God. And he put this enzyme in our body from the beginning of time, and they didn't discover it until the 1960s, okay? And he discovered this, and he realized that this was something that scavenges free radicals and gobbles them up, and it keeps us younger and it keeps us healthier. And the problem is, as we age, it stops working. When we hit 20, what happens? Crap hits the fan. And so he spends the rest of his career, he spent fighting free radical damage, also known as oxidative stress, okay? So with this enzyme, he realizes this is like gold, but how do I get it to work? So he spends 40 years in a lab. Because he's a doctor, he was using pharmaceuticals first. He was trying to use pharmaceuticals to turn on this enzyme. That's what drugs are trying to do, right? They're trying to get your body to do something. But the problem was it wasn't natural. And it was like a shock wave to the system, and it didn't activate this enzyme. So he kind of starts shifting to natural, and he starts messing around with little blends of different herbs. And he landed on a blend of 5 herbs that work synergistically together, and they activated that enzyme. So he has this massive breakthrough after 40 years. And I have a friend that personally met him and asked him and said, hey, was this like finding a needle in a haystack? And he was like, oh no. This was like finding a needle in 10 haystacks. The fact that we landed on this is a miracle. So he finds this blend, he patents that sucker, right? He's like, nobody's gonna touch this. And the little yellow activator, protandem NRF2, which is the pathway that it's activating, is launched into market. So he has all this crazy research coming out. He is making claims that nobody in the world has ever made before. Nobody. That he can reduce oxidative stress by 40% in 30 days. That's a big claim. And guys, I didn't even know what the heck oxidative stress was when I first heard this. And I was pretty pissed about it. I was like, you're telling me this is the root of almost every disease that we face as we age and nobody knows about it? And I asked doctors and they're like, well, there's no cure for it. Interesting. So they launched into market in 2003, and because of all this buzz, ABC Primetime catches wind of it. Has anybody ever watched an ABC investigative report? Okay, that's kind of like, you know how they end? Bad. They end with the CEO's face blurred out. They're chasing him down the street because they've exposed the lies. So they went in to expose this doctor and the claims he was making, and they ended up validating him on national television in 2005 to the world. So this little guy in a lab coat, his orders explode. Goes to about $5 million worth of orders come in the span of 2 weeks based on what people saw in that report. And the problem was he had no way to fulfill those orders. He wasn't expecting that. He had some of his products in GNC, CVS, Rite Aid. I mean, how many of y'all have walked into those stores lately? You are overwhelmed by product. Nobody knows what the heck they're looking for in there, and they're just trying to grab the best advertisement that they saw. And so, he's like, I don't know how to fulfill this. And so, the hype dies down, people forget, they move on, they're like, too good to be true. And so he's really struggling. He had a public company, his stock went up to $20 a share, couldn't fulfill the orders, it drops, almost taken off the registry. So in panic, he brought in a consulting agency and they took a look at his research, they took a look at the ABC report, and they said, holy crap, you have to take this off the store shelves and you need to go person to person, because that is the best way to bring technology to market. So that's what he did, reluctantly. This prestigious awarded scientist who changed the course of history pulled his product off the shelves and he put it into the hands of just common people like me to share the message. And it saved his company. So in 2009, we launched as the company that we are known as LifeVantage. And it went from that initial $5 million in sales to now we're over $230 million a year in annual sales and growing rapidly. And then along that journey, this is where it gets really cool. other universities, medical centers, prestigious places in this field saw that report, that little blink of hope, and they asked for his patented product and they funded their own research. To have third-party peer-reviewed research on a patented product is really big. Most of the pharmaceuticals out there, it's hit and miss, right? We have something that's proven. So that's the journey to how we got here. Now, what is it all about? I want to show you that ABC investigative report. It's old, okay? It's 2005, but here's the thing. Not a single solitary product on the market to this day has ever been able to do what they did in that report, so it's still worth showing you. And I think it'll help you understand a little bit more about what I'm going to unpack. So take a look. It's kind of short. We'll see it together.
You want to get an edge on turning back the clock with just a few pills? Who doesn't? Well, it's no longer science fiction, but science possibility, a potential breakthrough. As I found out firsthand, there may be a way to erase years, at least inside my body. Granted, it's down the road, but some scientists are wondering if a new pill I took might offer a very long life. It may not look like the fountain of youth, but inside this nondescript building, I'm about to become part of an exciting experiment, a kind of guinea pig.
Dr. McCord, okay.
I'm here at the University of Colorado in Denver to meet Dr. Joe McCord, a world-renowned scientist.
This is pretty exciting stuff you're finding, huh?
It is. We're very excited about it.
His latest research could very well unravel the mystery of aging itself. And his decades of experiments may have the potential of adding years to people's lives and possibly prevent chronic diseases like cancer, diabetes, and heart disease. It all centers around this small yellow pill, and for me, it begins with a blood test.
It wouldn't be the first time I've given blood for this company.
They want to check my levels of something called T-bars, which is a rough indicator of a person's actual age. T-bars can identify a condition known as oxidative stress, a kind of measure of the wear and tear on our bodies. Oxidative stress, like the rusting of an engine, is not a good thing.
Bad for the body,
Leading to disease.
leading to disease and leading to malfunction, and importantly, leading to what we call aging. It is a slow progression of increasing oxidative stress. That's the main characteristic biochemically of the aging process.
The problem of aging begins with the very food we eat to give us energy. As our cells burn that food, they also release toxic chemicals. Those chemicals, you may know them as free radicals, react with all the components of our cells, literally bombarding them millions of times per second, damaging all our cells. The result? Oxidative stress, and we all have it. The body fights back with a system of defenses. It makes two antioxidant enzymes, catalase and SOD, whose job is to gobble up the free radicals before they can harm our cells.
So, Doctor, how often do I take these?
And so, here I go. With that swallow, I've just become part of a potentially landmark scientific experiment.
Doesn't taste bad.
It's called Protandim, and tests on both mice and humans have already shown that it revs up the manufacture of those good enzymes in our bodies. More enzymes, fewer free radicals to harm us.
Right now, all we know is that this preparation decreases oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is not a disease, just like aging is not in itself a disease, but it's something that accompanies and is attached to many disease processes. So you can see the age-related.
Normally, oxidative stress, measured by those T-bars, increases with age. But in Dr. McCord's tests, taking just one pill of Protandim a day reversed that trend for everyone at every age, even for an 80-year-old.
They all are reduced to the level of oxidative stress that one would expect, frankly, in a newborn or a very young child.
High oxidative stress is associated with more than aging. It's been linked to hundreds of illnesses.
It's at the very center of many diseases: liver disease, diabetes, emphysema, asthma. I've studied all of these: strokes, heart attacks.
Even mental disease.
Yes.
Depression.
Alzheimer's disease, depression.
Dr. James Crapo with the National Jewish Medical Center in Denver is also researching Protandim for the company. But what about my progress? After nearly 2 weeks now, it's time to get my results. Dr. McCord calculates the numbers. The result, my level of oxidative stress has declined dramatically.
45%, that's excellent.
Just look at where I fall on the graph, before and after.
Which, if extrapolated back, is the level you would see in a newborn baby.
Would you suggest I keep taking this supplement?
I would. I can't guarantee it's going to extend your life, and I can't guarantee it's going to eliminate any diseases or cure any diseases.
But we do know that oxidative stress is part of those disease processes. And I don't want to wait until I'm 80 years old and find out that I should have taken it.
Okay, so that's the report. I love it every time I see it. But I'm going to unpack that a little bit for you. Like I said, a lot of places got really excited when they saw what happened in John Quinones' blood. And that little stinker was supposed to take it for 30 days. He took it for 2 weeks, and he came in, and his oxidative stress levels had declined that much. That is huge. And so the claims that we can make, and we can be compliant, we can say this to the world and not get shut down, that we can reduce oxidative stress on an average of 40% in 30 days in every mammal. That's so cool. And up to 70% after 3 months. That's even cooler. But that's all in the research. So this is just a list of all the places that reached out and initiated and funded their own research after that report. And you can see there's places on here like all these universities, Ohio State University, Harvard, American Heart Association, LSU did a really cool study on melanoma skin cancer. And they saw the skin cancer cells shrink, which is huge. And they came back to the company and they said, look at what happened to these cells. Y'all need to make this into a topical. So guess what they did? They turned Protandim into a skincare line. Same thing for your skin. That's huge. And then all these different places, the National Institute of Aging did a 10-year federally funded study that included Protandim. And that was the only product, the only natural product that was able to extend lifespan. Huge. 10 years. Your tax dollars paid for that one. And so there's some really cool stuff in there. They talked about the different diseases. So we can't, as a company, talk about treating, curing, preventing, mitigating any diseases, right? Oxidative stress is not a disease. But better yet, we can bypass those and we can pull out the root. That's what I get excited about. So I'm not going to tell you, we're going to do that, but what would your quality of life look like if you were able to reduce the source of the problem significantly? That's what we're talking about. So what is the problem? Oxidative stress. How many people knew what oxidative stress was before tonight? Just a couple. Oh, man, I was in your shoes and I was pissed. I was like, what? This is a problem. What is the cause of it? Okay, but as I start to unpack it, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, I actually do know what that is. Because if you cut an apple open and you set it on your counter, if it's a non-GMO organic apple, not like fake, what's gonna happen when oxygen hits it? It's gonna turn brown, it's gonna rust. The same exact thing is happening to all of your cells inside your body with every breath of oxygen that you take, with every sip of wine that you, no. Wine's good for you. With just water. Think about the water that we have in Iowa. It's one of the worst rated states in America for water quality. Why? Well, we live around fields that are sprayed with pesticides, herbicides, tons of runoff. There's a ton of stuff in our water. Not actually, if you're sitting at a desk all day, I know a couple of you are like, hey, I sit all day long, right? Not enough exercise. If you're on the other side, too much exercise. Like, what? I can't catch a break. But the environmental toxins, we know how toxic our world is. We've seen it, okay? We've been feeling it. We have stressors in our life. All of that stuff is causing higher levels of oxidative stress in our body. Why are we seeing younger people getting sicker? That's not how we were made. And that's the problem is our oxidative stress is out of control. And we are breaking down fast. And then don't even get me started on 5G. It is hitting our cells at a rate that we have never been exposed to before. We need protection. We need some help. And so oh gosh, does anybody know a medication that doesn't have a side effect list? all of that. Why do we have side effects? Because your oxidative stress is out of control, your cells are rusting. When your cells rust, bad things happen. Okay? So that's the problem. And what happens when the problem becomes uncontrolled? It manifests itself wherever your DNA predisposition is that it's weak, you're going to start to see that breakdown, right? Has anybody said it runs in the family recently? My husband's heart problem runs in the family. Diabetes runs in the family. Alzheimer's runs in the family. And that's because you have different specific genes that are weaker when oxidative stress is present. And so this is just a picture at the root of the problem, not the disease, the root, that attacks the different organs. So when I first saw this chart, I was Rolodexing names of like, oh my gosh, like the heart was where we started. But I knew people with skin problems. I knew people with kidney problems. I knew kids with kidney problems. I was like, this isn't supposed to happen. People with joint problems, asthma, COPD. No, who doesn't have allergies these days? Like what? The brain. Before my behavioral health days, I worked in a dementia unit, and I had become very passionate about finding something that could help people before they get Alzheimer's, right? And when I first found about this, the first thing I researched, oxidative stress, the number one thing on that list was oxidative stress in Alzheimer's. It's the root. Oh my gosh, there's a study with Protandim and Alzheimer's, colon cancer, and atherosclerosis. And there's different genes associated with those diseases. And what they saw when they took Protandim is it went down like a light switch and it turned off the bad genes and it turned on the ones that weren't working. Blows my mind. Can't say that we can cure, treat, prevent, mitigate this, but what would your quality of life look like? And we've seen it happen. So you talk about the immune system, your blood, different like diabetes, eyes, all that stuff, okay? So rip this out and reduce it by 40 to 70%, and what do you think might happen? Now don't take my word for it. All of our research is published on the National Library of Medicine, pubmed.gov. Does anybody know that database? Again, only the people that know about oxidative stress know about that database. Would you say, if you know about that database, that it is a valid source for research? I would say about 5% of all research that is conducted makes its way on there. 27 of our studies are on there. That's huge, of our patented blend. Not just an ingredient where everybody's like, oh, we have research. No, ingredients and recipes matter. You need the patented blend because that's what activates your body. And so if you go to PubMed and you type in oxidative stress, what was the last number? This was a long time ago. 250,000 studies on oxidative stress being associated with different diseases. Do you think that's a big deal? Yeah. So that's the problem, out of control. Let's put out the fire. That's Protandim NRF2. We can claim, like I said, to reduce oxidative stress by an average of 40% in 30 days. That's why my mother-in-law's pain decreased by 60% in 30 days, and why it was gone 6 months later. Isn't that crazy? I can't promise that for everybody, but that's my first experience. Now I got thousands of those testimonies. But why is it doing that? Because it's increasing that SOD molecule that the doctor discovered. It's increasing it by 30%. Okay, that's good. It's increasing catalase, another antioxidant enzyme, by 54%. But then later they found out it was increasing glutathione by 300%. Okay, does anybody know what glutathione is? Okay, if you've been getting IV injections, they're giving that to you. Okay, when COVID was like all big and everybody was running to get IV, I don't know, is that Des Moines is like hopping with IV, mobile IVs, and everybody's getting it. They're injecting with glutathione. People are supplementing with glutathione. But we were designed to make it. If you're ever getting it externally, it's synthetic. Your body makes it a whole lot better than trying to supplement with it. And we can increase that production by 300%. That is your master antioxidant enzyme in your body. So you want that working for you. If you ever have a bad thing going on, it's associated with low levels of glutathione. Okay, too sciencey? Are we getting it? Good? Okay, good. And so this is what Protandim does, but it doesn't stop there. It turns on over 200 survival genes in your body that are responsible for detoxification. Who needs a good detox? cell repair, protective mechanisms to stop the bad things from happening to us, all these different things. And that's what it's doing. And it is not, so this is where, like, the research, the 40 years of research is a big deal. It's a blend of 5 herbs, but it's in that perfect recipe that activates the switch. So you can go home and try to play mad scientist in your kitchen, and you can take all of those products, and a lot of people try to do that, but you can't activate it. That's why it's patented 7 times, okay? So that's what the blend of is. It's turmeric, milk thistle, green tea, bacopa, and ashwagandha. And again, you can be taking spoonfuls of turmeric and you're not going to get very far. It's in micro doses, so you cannot overdose. It's not a supplemental level, it's an activation level. That's where the paradigm shift happens. Now, this is really cool. We're BSCG approved, so Banned Substance Control Group certified, that professional athletes and Olympians can take this. We have a lot of them. And we're NSF certified, so everything that we promise is in the bottle is in the bottle. If you're buying things off of Amazon or whatever third party, even places off of big box stores, when they test the product, about 2% has been shown to be in the product that people think they're taking, and the rest is filler. Not good. You need those certifications. So, to drive this home, supplementation is like huge, right? Everybody's supplementing, I'm deficient, I can't absorb, whatever. When you're trying to reduce oxidative stress, you cannot do it with supplements, okay? It is like a 1-to-1 ratio, and you have trillions of those bad guys attacking your cells. So it would be equivalent, 62 glasses of wine a day. Can you do it? No, I don't think so. You can try. Red wine, has to be red. 400 oranges a day. 500 cups of broccoli a day. 110 cups of blueberries a day, or 120 vitamin C tablets every day to try to match what one pill of activating protandem does for your body, because your own DNA is smarter, right? Your own antioxidants are stronger than anything you can supplement with. And so just one molecule of this SOD in your body can scavenge and neutralize 1 million free radicals per second, every second throughout the day. 1-to-1 ratio or 1 to a million, okay? That's what we are talking about when we talk activating your body versus supplementing it. So, this is kind of where I'm going to wrap up the Nerve 2 part of our presentation, because now you've kind of got this in your head where it's like, that was full, I don't want to go any further, right? No, there's so much more, but I'm going to keep it light. Why haven't you heard of this yet? Okay? To bring something to market with like groundbreaking research, it takes about 25 years to become common knowledge. Guys, this started in 2005, but it wasn't until 2015, the year that I happened to be stumbled across it, which I think is just totally God ordained. 2015 was when Washington State University came out with a summary on NRF2 activation. And in that summary, they said this is potentially the most extraordinary therapeutic and preventative breakthrough in the history of medicine. It does say medicine up there. We had to change that to be compliant. I think they said we had to say health, but the actual study says medicine. That's huge. And so just 2015, it's going to take a few years for this to become salt and pepper on everybody's table. So that's why we're sharing this with everybody that we can. So Nerve 2 is the first product. If there was one thing that everybody takes for the rest of their life, because every day you breathe oxygen, drink wine, eat your food, all the things, you need that protecting your cells, okay? If there was more, I'll tell you there's a little bit more. There's some other things that happen. We now have 3 activators. The second one, which is actually called NRF1, it activates a pathway in your body that upregulates your mitochondria. Does anybody know what mitochondria are? They're the powerhouse of your cells, okay? You need them to have energy. That is your energy source. Is anybody tired? Okay, your mitochondria might need some help. And that's really where it all begins. But it's more than that. It's your chromosomal integrity. Every single autoimmune disorder is directly linked to a mitochondrial dysfunction. That is a problem. We need to be fixing those. Why are our mitochondria damaged? Well, they're the first things that are damaged by oxidative stress in our cells. So they start to malfunction, they break down, they die. We then do that too, okay? So the next protandem found a switch to activate healthy, energetic mitochondria. That was awesome. Good breakthrough. And then there's a third one that activates NAD. This is another thing people are getting a lot of injections of, they're supplementing with. It's kind of like the CEO of your cells, and so it's kind of telling everything what to do in your body. And a lot of people are doing things like severe caloric restriction. Not a lot. Very few people can actually do this. 700 calories a day, I don't think so, right? But when you do that in tandem with your doctor, there's a lot of health benefits living with severe caloric restriction. And people are trying to do that because they want to increase their NAD. It ain't doable, guys. I just can't even. That's not sustainable. So we found a way to activate that in the body. Now, all that this is showing is you can take protandem by itself, and that's great. But if you're really, get a consult and talk about it, if you're really wanting to activate multiple areas, LifeVantage knows that recipes matter. So you don't want to throw a whole bunch of pills. If you have a counter full of pills, please take a step back and think about that. What are they doing when you put them all together? They made sure that when they stacked their products together, that the recipe complemented each other and didn't take away, right? So all that this is showing is that the different gene expressions in each pathway. So this NRF2 gene, the antioxidant detox pathway that we all want working, by itself did 40%, which is great. When they put all three of these pathways together, it increased the detox pathway by 78%. That's good. You want more detox. In the inflammatory response, which by the way, we have a patent just on inflammation. It's so cool. The inflammatory response, when stacked together, increased to 848%. If you have inflammation in your body, that's something I might recommend. Your metabolic genes, your healthy mitochondria, those increased, and your recycling pathway. Who needs to recycle the trash? Right? That's kind of what this does. It increased, and then your NAD synthesis, creating more. You don't have to understand it all. All I'm saying is we don't ever want to throw a whole bunch of stuff at you and not know what it's doing together. That's important. We want to simplify your life, not add more to it. So stacked together, it works. Something that I love, and you guys get a sample tonight, is Axio. So everybody's brain needs a little help these days, right? Anybody have brain fog? Do you have the after lunch? Somebody just said that today. Do you get tired after lunch because you're like, oh, I need my pick-me-up? How many cups of coffee are you drinking every day? Is coffee actually serving you? I don't know. But this was something that I was like, I will never give up my coffee, right? Like I was like religious coffee drinker. I won't tell you what happened, but they came out with this brain drink, and all that this is, it's like an extension of protandem that crosses the blood-brain barrier and activates your neurotransmitters to fire straight. Who's like a squirrel, okay? This helps it fire straight. I am not kidding. It is in my glass right now. You think I'm long-winded now. But what's really, really cool about this is we see this in kids. So my background's behavioral health. I worked with children. And when you give a kid an Axio, you see some pretty cool things happen. Because there's no placebo effect with these guys, right? They're either sitting and focusing, or you're like pulling them back. And I saw some really cool stuff start to happen. And this is just an example of just somebody's handwriting with protandem and Axio before and 2 weeks after. And this one. This is a 6. I don't know if you guys can see this. It's kind of light. We have a neuroscientist that saw what happened to his patient. And he's like, what? I have to share this with my patients. He does brain mapping. This is a 16-year-old with ADD. And he was just, first of all, any kiddo, anybody on the spectrum, the common denominator, they have high oxidative stress. They can't detox well, okay? We know this. He put this, or not he did, somebody put this kid on NRF2, NRF1, and Axio. And his brain scans, this is before, and this is 2 weeks after. I think it was 2 weeks. Clear. All the rapid fire, clear. The hot spot in his frontal lobe, clear. And that's just so cool that the things that we're actually seeing can also be measured on a brain scan, brain mapping. So that's what activation is. You guys get to taste test it. There is caffeinated and then there's decaf. The caffeinated is about 100 milligrams of caffeine. So it's like 1 cup of coffee, but it hits different. I used to have to like drink 3 cups of coffee to like get somewhere, and then I'd still take a coffee nap. Isn't that a thing? Like, oh, I think I need to take a nap and then I'll be okay. No. So this is so cool. The final thing I want to talk to you guys tonight about before I hand it over to Phil, and then I'll wrap it up after Phil, but is collagen. And maybe I'll have you share. Yeah, anyway. Collagen. This is crazy. This is like the hype thing right now, okay? But why? Because when you hit the age of 30, just like when you hit the age of 20, your oxidative stress levels go down. Well, then when oxidative stress builds up, you hit the age of 30 and everything crashes, including your collagen. And you're like, what the heck? I'm screwed. So your body collagen is this protein that makes up about 25 to 30% of all the proteins in your body. Okay, so it's really important. Now, why liquid? I've been asking you guys a lot of questions. Do you want to answer this one? Who's taking a collagen right now? Okay, there's a few people out there. Don't hate me. But if it's powder, we need to reconsider. Okay? If you're not taking it, you should highly consider. But if it's powder, you should reconsider. And the problem with that is the powder pieces, even after you blend them up in water, the molecules are still too big for your cells to readily absorb them. So I kind of heard it that you would have to take about 10 scoops of the powdered stuff to be able to combat with 1 dose of hydrolyzed liquid collagen. Okay? So if you think you're saving money by getting the big powder tub, you're actually not. And so what we're doing with liquid is it's already hydrolyzed with water, no chemicals, you don't want any of that crap. And it's broken down so that your cells are readily able to receive it. Your body doesn't have to work, it's highly bioavailable. So that's really important that you consider that. And so what we're doing with this is really light, okay? With this liquid collagen, we are the activation company. So we're not gonna just give you something without activating it in your body as well. That is so cool. You can activate, replenish, and maintain as you age. The first thing is our hero ingredient. It is called ruby red quinoa that activates 2 things in the body. And I get excited about this. So the first thing is that it activates, remember the SOD gene that I was talking about, that protandim activated by 30%? It activates SOD by 2,700%. That's like mind-blowing. We actually have a study that has been done with protandim and collagen working together, and they won't even tell us the results of that study yet because they're patenting that blend before they release the results because it's that significant what it's doing for people. And I'm going to show you just what that looks like in a second. It's huge, okay? I get chills. But what it's doing is it's activating a gene in our body that stops working to say, hey, make collagen again. It's like, yay, I'm young again. Like, it's literally telling your body to do that. And the second thing that it's doing is working like a key to unlock your cells so that they can receive the nutrients that you're going to give it. If you are pounding a bunch of stuff and your cells aren't open to receive it, you're not going to get a lot of benefit, okay? So that's a very, very important piece. So it's opening up your cells ready to receive the goodness. So what's the goodness? Oh, and here's another thing. Bottom line, don't take collagen, make it, right? Don't take antioxidants, make them. But if you can just see the collagen density, which this is high, this is low, the yellow, it just continuously improves. Just after 8 weeks, it improved by 68.5. It's huge. So we replenish it when your cells are saying, okay, I'm ready to receive you. What is it receiving? It is receiving 5,000 milligrams of hydrolyzed marine peptides, fish collagen. Okay? And it is bringing 10 different types of collagen to your body, not just 1 or 2, 10. So it's like you kind of see like the tip of the iceberg where everybody sees it on your face, but we're doing all the good stuff down below too where you really need that help, right? And then the final thing is that we're maintaining with different berry extracts. So all the cells are absorbing all that yummy stuff and then you literally get the glow, the fun collagen glow. So that's what the collagen is doing. And what's not in it, There's no added sugar, sweeteners, non-GMO, dairy-free, gluten-free, soy-free, all the frees, okay? Because none of our products should have that crap in them, and a lot of products on the market do, unfortunately. And in just an 8-week clinical trial on just the collagen, not even the Protandim, which can't wait, we just saw all these increases. The collagen density by 42%, skin roughness reduced by 10%, the depths of crow's feet reduced by 22%, the blood catalase level, which is that good stuff that we want working for us, 202% increase, and the skin elasticity increased by 8%. So that's just kind of fun, just 8 weeks. But documentation beats conversation. So I want to show you a few things. I hope this, I can't see it very well from my angle, so I hope you can see it. But like, this is how fast it's working. Now, we've had people on this for 6 months. They just get better and better. I don't even know how that keeps happening. But after 7 days, we're getting things, and like, these people are pretty, like, I know these people. This is Marcy, okay? Her neck has changed. One of my good friends, Gail, this is her sister, and her sister was highly skeptical, and she's like, I got my neck back. This is Kim. Kim, her 60-day photo blew my mind. The 15-day looks different enough, but she has just her face, her eyes are no longer shrunk in. Like, she's just completely changed after 15 days. She takes more products with LifeVantage, but she added the collagen and it radically changed her. This one's hard to see, but this is a dramatic decrease in veins on the face. I've also gotten a lot of reports on veins in the legs, all those good things. Under eye, eyes changing, like these ladies, I drill everybody. Was it the exact same lighting at the same time, same place? And they're like, yes. Their eyes start to glow because they're getting their youth back. Legs, it's a big thing. This is actually Dr. Nancy Bryan. She's a pharmacologist. She was slinging drugs before she found LifeVantage, and then she found us, and she's like, I'm only slinging LifeVantage. This is Maria. She is a multiple myeloma cancer survivor, and activation gave her life back, and then she added collagen, and she's really excited. We joke with Sean that he looks less pissed. He actually has a 90-day picture too, and he showed his 90-day picture at a presentation I was at, and there were some people in the front row, they didn't know it was the same person. He looked that different. My friend Jen, single mom, she was just in survival mode, and this completely changed her life. So again, these are all people that we know. Just seeing those changes, it's really, really cool. So if people are seeing those results on the outside, can you imagine what's happening on the inside? And with that, I want to hand it over to Phil to talk a little bit about that. Dr. Phil is a chiropractor from St. James, Minnesota, and he's just a wealth of information, and though I do all the talking, he's really got all the brains and the expertise. So I want to hand it over to you to talk about products a little bit.
So thank you. I'm just getting over a cold, so I apologize about that. Just sort of getting back into how we got into LifeVantage. We've been with the company for 5 years now. It was brought to me through a patient, and I was like, no, don't want to deal with it. And then my wife went to a presentation that Amy was doing, and Amy has been a patient of mine when she was in high school. So I've been in chiropractic for 34 years now. Small town, smaller than this. And she went there, came back, and started talking about it. I was like, first off, when I sent her there to the seminar, I said, go listen, but keep it in perspective. I said, wasn't that nice? And she came back, and Amy thought she was pissed at her. So we have a wonderful relationship. But came back, and then I was looking at it. So we actually went up, and we were going to do the T-bar study. So I found a place in the cities. We're going to go up, and looking at it, I said, because Karen's family history is really heavy for dementia, Alzheimer's particularly, and there's just no good treatment for it. So I thought, if we're going to do this, and we should really find some validation on how we should do it. So we went up to cities, she got her blood work done, sent the blood work off, and then the blood work got lost in the mail. And they said, well, redo the blood work or we'll refund your money. And by that time, I'd actually gone through the research more, looked at it, and said, no matter what we're gonna do, we're not gonna be able to do something better than Harvard did. And so we canceled that and started with the product. And so that was 5 years ago. In 5 years, I've never found one thing with the company that has been a lie or has been not valid. Okay, it just keeps getting a little bit better. I'll show you something a little bit. We'll show you an experience I had this last week. The collagen, when we'll talk, so Pro Tandem is the flagship, and when the company is adding more products in, all these things, you sort of go, every day it's like, okay, it's another thing kind of thing. But they do tie it in, and it's building. So the studies they had before are only building as far as how effective they are. Every day with medicine, I sort of get, I work in a small town, people come into me with everything. I think this is broken, doc, what do you think? Okay, let's x-ray that. I don't want to go to the, I'm coming in, I've got hormonal problems, so I'm sending people to building, and we're working in tandem that way. But, you get a little bit of everything in a small town. But your tools are limited. So I had tons of supplements on my shelves. I keep a few of them there that people like, but for the most part, I've gotten rid of most of them. This is so much more powerful. In working with that, collagen came in. I thought it's another beauty product. I've got wrinkles. It'd be nice to get rid of some of those. Let's try it. What I saw was joint health. So my knees got significantly better. I mean, my knees are better now than they were 20 years ago, and I've been on it for a year and a half, roughly. I took their product just 2 days ago, a new product that I hadn't tried, thinking again, okay, it's another product, and I had the best night's sleep that's not on this list here that I've had probably in best night's sleep being sick in about 2 years. So anyway, collagen. One thing that Amy was talking about when she talked about collagen, how it's in this area, what we've been finding is with the 10 different types of collagen, our body is made up roughly 90% of collagen. Okay, there's collagen, at least in the matrix of it. So it's in different types of collagen in different parts of our body. Amy's sort of going everywhere. One study they're finding is it's really big for pelvic floor. So we've seen a lot of studies, and I'm sure they'll be doing more studies on how it's working with pelvic floor, again, female problem primarily, but guys have issues too. So another area I'm working with patients who are dealing with osteoporosis. When I'm talking about that, I'm talking about taking our calcium, vitamin D3, but the matrix for the calcium to go into is collagen. And so the meds that they're using for osteoporosis and such are really not shown to reduce the risk of fracture. You can check it out, check Fosamax, any of them. Have a disclaimer, not shown to reduce the risk of fracture. They are osteoclastic inhibitors, so the calcium stays in the bone, but you get crappy soft. So anyway, so the more I learn about the collagen aspect of it, the more sold I am on that. As far as not only the external part, which is pretty cool, but the internal part too. Got one little thing I'd like to show you that a patient of mine has allowed me to share. He came in, we were on vacation down in Mexico, came back, and it was right after that big blizzard, that last big blizzard we had. So he was driving, got stuck in a snowdrift, jumped out of his car, ended up going into a slough. Thinking as on one side of the road, just got turned around, he walks deeper into the slough, okay, swamp, whatever you call it. He's up to his chest in water, and he is trying to frantically get on his phone to call his dad. Calls his dad, finally says, "Dad, send everybody, I'm dying." So anyway, he comes in to me because they pulled him out with the snow. And so he doesn't come in because of his frostbite, he comes in because his back is messed up. Anyway, so comes to me, and this is cold, good cold. So he comes in about 6 days after, and his hands are bandaged pretty much like that. Okay, you can see, I'll leave these up here for you later on to see. He comes in, and his fingertips are black, and I'm like, okay, good chance we'll throw everything we got at. He's like, I'm going to lose my fingers, so what, I'll do whatever you tell me to do. Which a lot of my patients don't. They always don't always listen to what you tell them to do. So I think every patient could be on this, but again, being, we have to be sort of careful how we do this. Anyway, not careful, but people just don't listen to me sometimes. Anyway, so we started him on collagen, and this is the picture in his in the hospital. Okay, grade 3 frostbite, and fingertips are black. Comes in, fingertips are still black. It comes in. So 5 days after he is on collagen and the Trisynergizer, which is 3 different products, he goes into the wound care clinic and they debride his hands. Okay, again, still pretty ugly. He's scheduled to go in. They still haven't started hyperbaric chamber yet. They were going to do that. I don't know why they didn't do it earlier. He's scheduled to see a surgeon to find out if they're going to cut anything off in a month. Okay, it's been a little while. So he's working with that. So another week goes by. Hands look pretty good. Okay, it's getting better. Comes in. So here he's still wearing the big heavy gloves. Comes in. So last day comes into my office. This was last week. So you see some of these things and you go, that's cool. Are these real? And first off, these are all real, and they're not doctored. And so that's his hand. Yeah. Okay. So that was last week. So anyway. So yeah. Anyway, yeah. This stuff is. I do this a lot. my wife will tell you. It's nice when you see something work like that, and you don't know what it's going to do in somebody's life. So anyway, I thank Billy for having us here, and she's helped me a lot with my other journey, which is the hormonal journey. So I appreciate that, and I've sent patients to her who are willing to travel down here to see her. So anyway, that's my story.
That's the kind of caliber of people we get to work with every day, because it's not the bottom dollar, it's the people, and we cry a lot. And then we celebrate. When he told me that, I was literally, Grant was with me, I was like, oh my gosh, I was like, I couldn't even hold it in. There was no audience, it was just like pure joy, because he gets to keep his fingers. And so much more. So I'm gonna wrap this up, guys. You've been such an incredible audience, but this is our product line. We're the activation company, so we do realize there are a few things you need to supplement with sometimes. We have micronutrients, we have a Rise AM, a Reset PM. If you're taking a multivitamin, sometimes the company didn't do their research and they have ingredients in there that's counteracting. Again, recipes matter. So we have a Rise, what you need at the right dose at the right time to get through your day, and then the micronutrients that you need for sleep. Phil and I can attest, best sleep of our life. It is amazing. You have your activators. We also have, we have a personal care line. So they took Protandim, and like I said, they put it in the skincare. They put it in the skincare regimen, the body care. We have gut health. We have shampoo. They put the Protandim in our shampoo. It's the only shampoo that I have used since 2018 when it launched. I was like, what? You're telling me that the chemicals I've been using in my shampoo are being absorbed into my bloodstream within 7 seconds in a hot shower? Gross. I am trying to detox every day with Protandim, and I was putting toxic crap on my hair every day. So I stopped dyeing my hair and I only use this. I'm kind of one of those freaks. I'm slowly getting more crunchy, but I'm still not there yet. But that's all that I've used, okay? And then our brain drink, we have an immunity drink, and then they took Protandim and they started giving it to dogs. People are like, hey, this is making me feel better. What's it gonna do for my decrepit dog that can't jump into the bed of my truck anymore? Farmers started that one. And so they started giving it to dogs, and they started calling the company and saying, oh my gosh, because dogs age faster than us, right? They also don't have a placebo effect. So if you give a dog a Protandim, you're gonna see some really cool things. And so the company did a double-blind placebo study on dogs, and the results were so crazy because they reversed so much faster than humans that they just had to end the study, because you could absolutely tell which dog was activated and which one wasn't. And I have a ton of personal testimonies. So we have Pet Tandem that's specially formulated for dogs. It's the same thing. So if you don't believe me, put your dog on it, and then you can come back and talk later. So that's our products. Here's what I want. I want you to decide where you think you fit in that. I'm not here to convince you. I've given you the power to decide for yourself. But you can meet with us afterwards and say, here's where I'm at, here's what I'm struggling with, what do you think I need? And we can consult that, and we can help put together a stack that's gonna be best for you. You can do one thing for the rest of your life, you can do a stack, get yourself to a baseline, and then change it. Like, you get to decide. And these are all gonna help you with that journey. I'm gonna wrap up with just this one thing. We are a company that also offers an opportunity for people. 85% of my entire business and what brought me home from my day job was just happy customers. And that's all I want for people. Get in where you fit in, apply it to your life. But then there's a few people that started taking the product and said, yeah, I need to share this with people. And so if that is you, if you're looking for something like Billy was looking for something, I didn't know that I was looking for something. I said I wasn't, but actually I really was. This could be something that you want to do. If you want to share it with people, I want you to know that you are welcome here. But there's zero pressure. What we are is an activating company. We're the leader in activation. We're the only product on the market that's like this, okay? We started with the little yellow activator, backed by science. We have a story. You heard it tonight. Behind the business, we are a publicly traded company. So you hear a lot of health and wellness companies out there. I'm pretty sure most of them are privately owned by one or two people. And then things go bad and they split and all these different things happen. You hear it all the time. This is a publicly traded company. So everything is scrutinized down to the penny. Our books are open. We have, like Phil said, we have to be squeaky clean. So you're not going to get any shade from us. You're not going to get false advertising, okay? So that's kind of a big deal when you're partnering with something or even if you're consuming something. We're solid and stable. We're debt-free. That's another big deal these days. And we have less than 67,000 consultants worldwide. And we're a global company. So that's also, if you're thinking of somebody in another country, we have a lot of countries that we are open in. And we have distribution centers across the globe. So the Evolve compensation plan, I'm not even going to get into the details of this, but bottom line, when they pulled this product off the shelves and they gave it to the hands of people, they didn't inflate prices, right? They just gave it back to the people that were bringing the message. And so we have ways through this plan to help people build in the nooks and crannies, be able to pay for their product, create a side gig, which a lot of people are trying to do. They're like, there's not enough month at the end of the money. And that was the case for us, even though I didn't think I was gonna do this. Changed our life, okay? And so there's a plan in place and it's simple. We can earn on every product that we sell. We are not, if you guys are familiar with this space, we're not a binary or a two-legged thing. We just have a culture of customers, okay? You just share this with people. And you can create a team if you want to. You don't have to. It's not like you're locked into something where people are like, they have PTSD from being locked into something and they couldn't shut it off. I don't know if you've ever been there before. But this opportunity is also unknown. Who knew about Nerf2 activation before you walked in here tonight? Who knew about oxidative stress? Nobody. Okay, a couple people knew oxidative stress, but still. And then the opportunity, because we're publicly traded, we have to share our earnings disclosure statement with everybody. Like, we have to be honest about what people are making in the company. And I have people in my team all the way up to this rank in the company, and this is the monthly earnings. So that's just kind of a really cool thing that it's real, okay? It's not a hype thing. We have a really, really high customer retention rate. You think, right? Like, people get on these products, they don't want to go back to the way that they felt before. So the company rewards customers. So if you become a customer, they want to be able to reward loyalty. If you continue to stay on this, we encourage people, if you're going to decide to take this, commit to a 3-month plan. Because the first month, you're going to detox a little bit, right? You're going to get rid of the junk. Month 2 and 3, you're going to start to feel what it feels like to be activated, okay? You didn't get that way overnight. You're not going to magic pill your way back to happiness. So I encourage people to try it for 3 months, and the company is going to reward you for that. They're going to give you, money back to spend towards your next product. They're going to give you free products if you stay on it. And so that's just a way that we try to keep our customers happy. And then the company, if you decide to do this with us, I don't know if you want to or not, but we travel. We have fun. We get to do a lot of fun things. Grant and I got to go to Europe for the first time in our life, and we spent some time in on our dime, we went to Switzerland. Highly recommend. Like my favorite country in the whole wide world. But then the company allowed us to go to Croatia, and we got to really spend some fun time out there. It's just really cool to travel with people like Phil. Just to be able to be with good people in community in this day and age, in a toxic world, is really, really good for the soul. And so getting started, if you decide to, totally up to you, decide. I want to order some products. I want to try this for myself. I want to give it the 3 months. Just meet with us afterwards. We'll get you a shopping cart. You can be on your way. If you decide to do this with us, you can do this with us. You can pick a pack to get started, and you can pick a stack to stay on for the next few months, and we'll teach you step by step what to do. So with that, oops. I'm gonna let us break up, and you can go taste test the Axio. We can get your questions answered, and we can help you with whatever you want. Okay? No pressure. Thank you so much.